Eccoci e bentornati sul mio canale. Ecco il primo gameplay della mappa Pointe Duoc tra le trincee di Call of Duty Ww2 direttamente dalla livestream di ieri sera della Sledgehammer Games. Buona visione.
Times, but these guys know what they're doing already, but they've got a lot to learn still.
Yeah, obviously communication, I think, has been the biggest topic. If we want to talk about the actual game here, like, Team Courage is just so much more vocal about what they're doing, and you can hear the calls from here. Team Visca is not as into it, so it's obviously making a big difference.
All right, let's get into our final game, and we have a new map here to check out in our 5-game series. Talk to me a little bit now about this final map, Ray.
So yeah, it's Pointe du Hoc. This is not necessarily going to be one of our competitive maps. I think this map has a lot of qualities that a good public match map has. But for competitive, I think there's a lot of choke points, a lot of different things that play.
Frantic, and fun.
Yeah, very close range game. I mean, you can see shotguns really dominant on this map, and I really hope we see one of the players pull one out. But considering how they set up their class so far, maybe they won't. But it's very kind of like trenchy, close quarter combat. You have the outside lane that kind of offers those longer side lines. You have a few turrets around the maps that kind of allow you to control certain spaces. But in general, it's super about kind of like making the right pushes at the right time and getting really deep, nitty-gritty with those close range engagements.
I just want to say, you know, this is the first time I've ever seen this map, and when I see this map, this is what makes me think of World War II. You know, you see the trenches, you see, you know, the position of, like the bunkers, you know, those little slits and those mounted guns. This, for me, is what World War II is kind of all about, and it kind of, you know, drives that home. So, you know, maybe not a competitive map, but this is one where, you know, maybe get that flamethrower in these trenches.
Oh,
and,
hell yeah.
You're going to light a few players up.
You roast people with a flamethrower in this map, dude. It's great.
Yeah, this is one of those maps that, it'd be very fun to go into pubs and just completely dominate. I'm going over to Dave for a moment just because Dave, you know, he ended on a hot streak in that game 4. He's destroying right now at 8-1. We tried to create balanced teams. Jack did, to be fair, Jack did pick the teams.
Yeah, and I want to say Jack put him in their favor, but Jack's been performing pretty well. We'll have to give him that. He's been holding its own. We've seen, and kind of like what Momo said, there's certain players that kind of pick up things quicker, and communication, the hype that Jack brings is probably just enough to put him over to the edge.
We'll see. Right now it is a lead for Visca at least, a 3 streak right now for Attach. We'll see if he can maybe build towards some streaks to try and make a play. New hard point just popped up. You see that major alert.
And again, Team Courage just out-rotating Team Visca. It's been, even though this map obviously doesn't maybe not have the main characteristic that you search in the competitive map, but still very much so has that control point that you need in every single map of our
and it's
World
just,
War II.
yeah, I mean, like you said, the rotation is so much more important. You can't just, you know, fly around a corner, slide around a corner, or try and get somebody's, maybe if they're L-triggering and, you know, hard aiming a corner. That advantage that maybe hasn't existed so much in the past couple of titles is absolutely alive and well, and you've already seen it here several times.
And even though we're not really showing it today, Search and Destroy has been a very different experience in the past couple of years. Boost, you saw a lot of kind of like 4-man pushes on both sides, just kind of like just clashing each other in the middle of the map. I don't think you're going to see that so much anymore. You'll see some pushes, some rushes, but you'll see a lot more splitting up on defense. You'll see a lot more general understanding as teammates kind of learn the routes and which way they can get faster. And obviously, nade spots are huge. Like grenades are an immense use in this game, and understanding how to get them quickly to certain choke points as team push breakout are going to be a huge advantage for the teams that do it right.
One thing that I'm seeing and I'm loving is, you know, we've seen Dave, you know, maybe had an okay series so far, but he's really excelling, and I'm thinking, you know, why is this? And he's rocking that submachine gun. You know, he's rocking that Type 100, and this, for me, again, brings back the fact that there's going to be roles, there's going to be maps which, you know, your SMGs are going to be better at, the ones where you're going to have long-range sights for, you know, the assault rifles as well. And I like that, you know, it's not just going to be, you know, all favoring one side or one... I can't even think of the word, you know, the classes, if you like, obviously for these guys, you know, they're going to have to change, they're going to have those roles, and it's nice to see because we saw Zero and Tommy just dominating, and now we're seeing that SMG player really in his element.
Right, for a map of this style and kind of like Flacked Out, you'll probably see more SMGs than ARs, and if not, you'll probably see all SMGs and ARs depending on how the team decides to play it. And I feel like that's the cool part about our game. So you're going to have different combinations, certain maps that kind of cater, like Momo said, to different play styles, and really like where certain players shine. And I think that's something super cool. Like the objective players like ourselves that in the past would have a better chance of getting kills, as most of the kills we're getting are in that close range fight, and we have the objective mindset in play to make that happen.
Well, back to the kind of the gameplay here. Dave, who started out very strong, is still crushing.
Jesus,
20-7, and you know, this is a guy that started to really kind of blow up and I think make a name for himself over the past couple of years. He's become an absolute esports juggernaut in the European side of things, and I hope some of that's actually coming through the mic, but apparently, Jack was just destroyed.